In Chinese kung fu movies, we're used to seeing entire karate schools getting beaten up by our Chinese heroes. They're always shown as the evil enemies, and their martial arts are strong, but ultimately fail when faced with superior Chinese kung fu. That's in the Chinese movies, but Japan does actually have its own karate movies. Although the style of them is different, they're more gritty and nowhere near as popular as the kung fu movies that exploded out of Hong Kong in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. But are these two martial arts styles just two sides of the same coin anyway? You see, the old name for karate, written in Japanese kanji, means Chinese hand. Tang Shou when pronounced in Mandarin. Tang as in the Tang Dynasty, China's golden age, but this term can also be used for something Chinese in general, like Chinatown is called Tangrenjie, Tang People Street. Then the second character, shou or hand, signifies that this is a combat form using the hands, not weapons. But in the 1930s, the first character used in the name karate was switched to mean empty, so now it means empty hand. Kong Shou when pronounced in Mandarin. So were the Japanese just trying to hide the fact that their national fighting style, the pride of Japan, which made its debut as an Olympic sport in the 2020 Olympics, is actually just a Japanese knockoff of Chinese Kung Fu? Ooh, I can feel the Japanese internet trolls typing already. But no, knockoff would be the wrong word, since many things get transmitted across the world and changed by different cultures, and then they become something else, alright? Many of the moves in Kung Fu actually originally came from exercises taught at the Shaolin Temple by the Indian monk Bodhidharma, who came from India anyway. So in this video, I want to explore karate's Chinese roots and the process of its development in Japan. This is how Kung Fu became karate. So karate comes from Okinawa. This is the largest of the Ryukyu Islands south of Japan and east of China. Throughout Japanese history, Chinese martial arts were spread east to these islands, even before the islands were part of the Japanese Empire. What part of China is closest to Okinawa? Don't say Taiwan or we open another can of worms. But the closest part of mainland China to Okinawa is Fujian province, which is a hotbed of various martial arts styles, including Fujian white crane. This style uses hand movements that look like the wings of a crane. And ooh, what's this? Remember this fact for later, okay? But let's first continue talking about karate's development, and then we'll get into the similarities with Kung Fu. So Chinese fighting styles, mostly from Fujian, spread to Okinawa. These would have been southern styles. If you don't know about the difference between northern and southern styles of Kung Fu, you can check out this video. That's what it looks like. I'll put it on the end screen for you to check out. Southern styles emphasize strong stances, are more focused on the hands than the legs, and moves don't flow into each other as much as in northern styles. They tend to sink into their stance first and then strike with the hands, so movements are a bit more jerky. They also employ a lot of breathing techniques to help them generate power. And in styles like white crane, you will see spear hands, chopping techniques, and also using the hands like the beak or the wings of the crane. So this stuff passed to Okinawa and mixed with the local fighting techniques of the farmers on the island. Then in 1609, Japan invaded Okinawa and it was turned into a vassal state. Japan banned ownership and use of any weapons by the local population, leading to the development of an empty-handed system of combat. In 1669, Japan even banned the practice of fighting arts altogether, so this then made the art go underground, but Okinawans continued to learn martial arts from China and bring them home to practice and develop further. In around the year 1870, a man called Kanryo Higayona made the trip to Fujian in China to learn from a master that the Japanese call Ryo-Ryo-Ko, and that was most probably this guy, Liu Longgong, who most likely practiced Fujian white crane Kung Fu. Kanryo brought what he learned back to Okinawa, and this forms the basis of the Goju Ryo Karate Do system. In Chinese pronunciation, the name of that would be Gangrou Liu Kong Shou Dao, or hard, soft, flowing, empty-handed way. His top student was Chojun Miyagi, who also traveled to Fujian and is the one who named the style hard, soft, flowing system. And does that name sound familiar to you? Miyagi?
Wax on, hot. Wax off, hot. Concentrate. Look at my eye. Yes!
Oh, right. This real-life karate master was the inspiration for Mr. Miyagi in The Karate Kid. At this time, they still called it karate with the characters tang shou, or Chinese hand. But as the 20th century rolled around, Okinawa was now fully a prefecture of Japan, and Japan was now a regional power competing with China, and even fought the first Sino-Japanese war against Qing dynasty China in the 1890s, taking Taiwan from China and gaining influence over Korea. And later, the Second Sino-Japanese War would start in 1937 as part of World War II. Put simply, Japan and China were not exactly best buddies at this stage in history. I mean, they still aren't now, but you know. And around the turn of the century, so after the First Sino-Japanese War, we start seeing the character for Chinese, tang, pronounced kara in Japanese, replaced with the character for empty, kong in Chinese, but also pronounced kara in Japanese. Thus, the whole word was still pronounced karate, but just with different characters. The first instance of this is in the writings of Okinawan karate master Chomo Hanashiro, and in the writings of Gichin Funakoshi in the 1920s, who spread Okinawan karate to the Japanese mainland and is considered the grandfather of modern karate. In 1936, at a meeting of karate masters in Okinawa, the matter was resolved and they settled on the character for empty instead of the character for Chinese. And I mean, it was good timing. The Second Sino-Japanese War started the following year. Would have been awkward. So we know that karate evolved from the styles of kung fu taught in Fujian province. But can we actually see similarities today? Let's talk about that next. So let's have a look. Here is a form called ba bu lian, or 8-step linking in Chinese, and it comes from the crane style. Now take a look at this form, which has the same name, so it's the same characters, but obviously it be pronounced differently in Japanese, which is part of Okinawan karate, and you will see the moves are very similar. It's a bit slower and appears more tense than the Chinese version, but it is basically the same thing. I got these examples from a karate teacher on Quora called Ben Hanrio, so shout out to him. He gives another example of a Fujian white crane form. Here is the Chinese version, and here is the Japanese karate version. It might be hard to see the similarities for the untrained eye, since they have altered or added a lot of movements, but you can see a spear hand off to the left to start, an elbow, a kick, and then a double punch. The Japanese guy's speed on each move is impressive, but he looks a lot more tense than the Chinese white crane guy. There is another form or set of movements in Southern martial arts called Sanjan, or the Three Wars. Check out this documentary of 2 Hong Kong-based martial artists learning karate in Okinawa. They encounter something very familiar.
中國就有嘅，原來三戰佢哋呼吸都係咁樣咯。係。
It's a form of reverse breathing method for generating power.
然後去翻丹田嗰度，跟住提氣嘅時候咧，再將個丹田氣滴埋出嚟。
And actually, this is a form that I used to practice in tiger crane combination style when I was a teenager, and it seems that it spread from Fujian to Okinawa and was incorporated into various styles of Japanese karate. Actually, the teachers in my kung fu school even told us that Japanese karate had taken this form, but they taught it only to their advanced students, whereas we taught it as the most basic form. But you really can't say that Japanese karate is just kung fu, okay? With the human body, there are naturally certain stances that are stronger than others, certain hand and leg movements that will cause more damage or block a punch better. Just because many of these originally came from kung fu doesn't mean that they are exclusive to kung fu, okay? They just work, so they have been adopted. And the Japanese definitely put their own stamp on the Chinese martial arts, merging with the peasant fighting techniques of Okinawa and the mentality of the samurai. It formed into something truly Japanese. And actually, we see this transmission going both ways. Remember Bruce Lee using nunchucks in Enter the Dragon? Well, nunchucks are actually Okinawan-style rice flails, because when weapons were banned in Okinawa, the peasants would use whatever farming tools they could get their hands on to train with. Rice flails existed in China too, but the one Lee uses in the film is specifically Okinawan style. And in that documentary about karate, you see nunchucks and you see other things that are daily use items that are now used as weapons in Okinawan karate.
Equity 呢個叫做點嚟？我唔敢講，係用船長。 你都冇學過呢個？冇啊，好少人打，香港好少人都會打呢個。
Okay, the Chinese didn't adopt boat oars to fight, but it's kind of a cool trait of Okinawan karate. You see a lot of farming tools and everyday items used as weapons because Japan banned weapons when they invaded. After the Second World War, when US troops occupied Japan, US service members were exposed to karate and brought it back to America, where it became the most popular martial art over here. I think it suited the aggression of people in the US. And the rest is history. Alright guys, that is the video for today. Now you know the roots of Japan's national martial art. Like many things in Asia, it spread from China and Japan took it and added in their own national flavor and culture. If you practice a Chinese martial art and want to win $5,000, why not enter the NTD Television Traditional Chinese Martial Arts Competition? This is a forms competition, so you don't have to fight anybody, just demonstrate truly traditional movements. The emphasis of this competition is on preserving and reviving the martial arts. You can enter in both open-handed or weapons categories. The competition will be held in New York City in mid-August. I will paste a link to all the information you need in the description section below. And I am the commentator for the live stream. So if you enter, I will probably see you there. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video. And if you want to support us, please consider becoming a member for $4.99 a month. It really helps us to keep making content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.